You know, Carmela, Gigondas is a wine that could change your life.
Whoa.
It's a big wine from the southern Rhône in France where the grapes are generally GSM blends. And the 800-pound gorilla in the region is Châteauneuf-du-Pape, which Gigondas is often compared to. Now, is all of that going a little bit over your head? Good. That's why you got to listen to this episode and find out more about this wine that has more than an even chance to knock your socks off.
Truth.
Hello, fellow Vint nerds, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast.
Why's it got to be about nerds?
I don't know. You'll find out. I am Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and that was my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Woohoo!
If you're new to our podcast, your voice is changing. If you're new to our podcast, here's what we do. Every week we buy wines under $25 with our own money. We taste them and we give you our brutally honest opinion on whether they're worth buying. Nobody pays us to review specific wines. We don't get free bottles from wineries, and we're not afraid to call out a bad wine when we taste one. And Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent,
chatty,
and entertaining. So if that sounds like your vibe, then welcome to our tribe of wine lovers or vint nerds. Okay, once again, the name this week came from Gina, so thank you, Gina. But I think we're running out of names, Carmela.
Uh-oh. Come on, people.
Yeah, we need some help here. If you have ideas for names for the tribe.
Have we exhausted the list, though? I mean, how many have we actually put out there?
A lot. I mean, maybe we'll take a break from it. Who knows? But anyway, if you do have a name for our tribe, send them our way. And if you haven't been on the podcast, we'll ask you if you want to do a quick interview, become world famous, and meet Carmela in person over the phone.
Really?
Teams, or Zoom or whatever.
Oh, I didn't agree to this, but I'd be happy to. It's at the top of my list.
See, there it is. Okay, Carmela, this week we're going to cover one of the great wines from one of the great wine appellations in the world called Gigondas. And technically, Gigondas is a wine region located in the southern Rhône Valley in the southeastern part of France. And then later in the episode, we're going to talk about exactly what Gigondas is, what the grapes are in it, how it's made, all that fun stuff. But I thought it would be good right off the bat to orient ourselves to the other great wines that come from the Rhône Valley, because I said this was a great wine region, so we might as well talk about it a little bit. If you're an aspiring wine nerd or vint nerd, and who doesn't want to be, then you gotta know this.
Oh my.
So this is a gift from us to you, a gift, free gift.
You're welcome.
The Southern Rhône is home to a lot of famous wines and appellations, many of which are designated as Crous, C-R-U. Now, if you're one of those real aspiring wine nerds walking well down the path to wine nerddom, you know that the word Crous is a word that represents the best of the best of the best of any wine region.
Nerds or not.
Right. It's just the best.
Do you remember Revenge of the Nerds?
I do.
I wonder if Gina's old enough to know that one.
Oh, well, I'm not going to speak for Gina, but I would assume so. I went right too quickly to yes. Okay, we talked about that. Now I gotta move on. We talked about this a few weeks. Sorry, Gina. We talked about this a few weeks ago when we were talking about the Bordeaux wines from Costco's Kirkland brand that were from the famous appellations of Pauillac and Saint-Julien, which are some of the best known and most renowned crus in the world. But the word cru actually originated in Burgundy, and it translates to something like growth or soil. So there you go.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about the great wine areas, appellations from the Southern Rhône. We're going to go through the list as quickly as we can of the most famous appellations and crus. And for each of these, we will let you know if they use the classic Rhône GSM or Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre blend in their red wines and how they compare to Gigondas.
Okay.
This sounds kind of fun.
I like it.
Now, remember, there'll be a quiz.
Oh.
No, there's never a quiz except for Carmela.
Wow. Yeah, see, after the show, he sits me down and he quizzes me.
Listen, you've got to do better.
Right. And then I get, a little bit of a little,
talking to.
A little tongue lashing. Is that right? Tongue lashing?
You wish.
I know. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. And then we move on to the next week.
Whoa. And that's not all we move on to. Okay. The first most famous appellation is Châteauneuf-du-Pape. It's named for its historic connection to the Pope when the papacy was in France and not the the Vatican. Look it up. I don't have time to go through it. It's considered the undisputed royalty of the Southern Rhône Crous. It is a GSM blend, and they allow up to 18 different varieties, but the vast majority of the blends are dominated by Grenache. And in terms of comparison to Gigondas, it's typically much bigger and heavier. Sometimes it's called brawny.
Ooh.
Not like the paper towels.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
But no, not like paper towels.
Okay.
And it's more expensive. Another one is, I'm going to say these totally wrong. So, if somebody from the pronunciation police wants to get back at me, it's totally fine. Vaqueras. It's famous for being Gigondas' little brother and for vineyards in the lower, warmer areas of the Delta de Mourvèdre mountains. I don't know how to say it, but I said it with a kind of like...
Right. You were trying. That was a good effort.
It sounded like it, yeah.
Right, they definitely try.
Thank you. They definitely make GSM blends, and at least 90% of the vines are Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvèdre, but they often have more Syrah and Mourvèdre in the blend than Gigondas, which is kind of interesting. And in comparison to Gigondas, their wines are described as more accessible, rustic, and fruity, and less expensive. Another one is Baume de Vigny. It's famous for a sweet, fortified Muscat wine, but it does have red wines, and they have gained some recognition since 2005. They sort of make GSM blends. The reds are primarily a blend of Grenache and Syrah. They kind of leave Mourvèdre out. They leave it. They're like, sorry, you're not picked for the team this week.
Gosh.
When you played kickball?
Right. Do you think it's the last one chosen?
I sometimes was. I don't think you ever were.
Well, I don't remember.
No.
I was usually one of the captains.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's even better. Like you're the one who didn't pick me.
No,
okay. Anyway.
I picked you in the end.
That's true.
I mean, look at us now.
Look at us now. So many years. Sometimes.
Wow.
Anyway.
Sometimes you wish you weren't picked.
That's right. In comparison to Gigondas, their reds are considered potent and ripe, whereas Gigondas has more finesse. Kind of like me. Anyway. The next one is
You love to compare these things to you.
I know. It's all about me.
It's amazing.
I know. Rasteau is famous for powerful red wines, and it's Vin du Naturel, which is natural sweet wines. They use GSM blends. Compared to Gigondas, they're known for old-fashioned crunchiness, is what the interweb said. They're a little more rustic, a little more meaty. Meaty is, not some things you can necessarily want in your wine.
Oh, right.
But
Gigondas, like you think it has the taste of meat, or they're comparing it to it's got girth?
No, like it will taste like game. We've had those wines
I know.
before,
That's what I'm curious.
And we don't love it. No. But Gigondas is considered more elegant than these wines.
Okay.
A few others. Carrion, it's earned its Crous status in 2016. They definitely use classic GSM blends. In comparison to Gigondas, their reds are generally considered vibrant, fresh, and lighter on their feet. So Gigondas is kind of interesting because sometimes it's comparatively more heavy, or heavier, as sometimes I get called. And then in other cases, it's more elegant.
Are you fishing?
A little bit. Another one is Visombre. It's known for being the northernmost southern Rhône cru. The grapes are grown on high altitudes right at the beginning of the Alps, so that's kind of cool. They definitely use GSM blends. The blends must be at least 50% Grenache. And then in comparison to Gigondas, they produce a lighter, fresher style. Syrah is one of the few crus in the Southern Rhône that is authorized for red, white, and rosé wines. And they're just across the river from Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
They definitely use GSM as their core blend. And in comparison to Gigondas, their wines are known for being fleshy, like sometimes I'm called, elegant and lighter. She gave me a look. She doesn't like that. Tavel, we've talked about that before. That's all about rosé. So GSM blend, all that kind of stuff, not relevant, but Tavel is a great rosé. And then there's the general like Côte du Rhône and Côte du Rhône villages. These are generally anchored by Grenache. Sometimes they're GSM blends, sometimes they're not. And it's very inconsistent in terms of how they would compare to Gigondas, but they're not going to be as heavy or as big or have as much aging potential as a Gigondas. So there you go. A little learning.
Wow.
You ready for the quiz?
No.
Okay. You have to know them in alphabetical order.
If I was listening to this podcast, I would be like,
surprise, you are listening to it.
I know, true. But if I was like, I'd have to take my finger and keep rewinding it back.
Wow.
No, it's a good thing. I'd be interested in that
button.
Yeah, or whatever. Like sometimes, that's a better thing to do. But sometimes I'm like just trying to get back, like just like 1 minute. I just
want to hear a little bit. I missed it. I feel like I missed it.
Exactly. So I'd have to do that. Does anybody else have to do that?
I don't know. Let us know. Send us a note at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com.
Because Joe gives a lot of information in a little amount of time.
And sometimes does it make your eyes water? We want to know.
Right. Or do you just want to again, I don't know. Rewind. Keep rewinding. Rewind.
Remember Blockbuster Video, Be Kind, Rewind?
Right, right. That's how I feel.
That's awesome. All right, so that was a little learning about other famous wines in the Southern Rhône and a good way to get to know Gigondas a little better. But we have 2 Gigondas wines that we're going to taste and review to let you know if either or both of them you should run out and buy. But first,
you got to do our shameless plug.
That's right. So thank you for listening to us and for supporting our show. And, you know, we buy all the wine we taste and review every week so that we can give you real and honest reviews. So if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a 5-star rating and review so we can grow listeners. We also love to hear from you. We always respond, so you can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky and TikTok at The Wine Pair Podcast. You can contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com, and you can sign up for our email newsletter there. And you can also send us a note, as I said, at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. And we just like to shoot the breeze with you.
Totally.
And as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should recommend the Wine Pair Podcast to, because that's the best way for us to grow listeners. When you tell your family and friends about us. And this week, we want you to recommend us to anyone who loves Châteauneuf-du-Pape, but doesn't love the price. Because they might just find that Gigondas is the perfect alternative with similar power, similar grapes, but a less heavy price tag.
I love it.
How about that? We love quality. That's what this quality at a good price. That's what this podcast is all about.
Right.
People,
that's what we're searching for. That
it's not
always, especially Joe, on the prowl.
That sounds weird, but okay. But I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know. But I'm thinking about this vintnerd the whole time.
You're kind of troubled by it.
Yeah, well, no, I was thinking like that would be a good, like if you're talking to somebody about movies and you're like, oh my God, it's really funny because Revenge of the Nerds came up in a podcast I was listening to.
I like that.
And then I got to thinking about who are the 2 main characters in Revenge of the Nerds. Do you remember? It took me a little while. When you were talking about all that stuff, I was like...
That's what she actually does.
No, I don't know why.
Okay, what were their names?
No, do we think we should just wait and see if somebody else can come up?
Okay.
No, I'll say it.
Okay.
Their names, ready or not, were Lewis and Gilbert.
That is awesome.
I know. Anyway.
I love it. But Carmela, I think it's time to find out just what the Gigondas is, shall we?
Let's do it.
And I should be clear that we're talking about red Gigondas wine. There is white Gigondas, so that'll come up in the quiz a little bit later, and maybe that'll be a future episode, but not today. We're all about red. Now, the history of Gigondas wine spans over 2,000 years, which is a story we hear a lot about wines from Europe. The name Gigondas comes from the Roman times. It's Latin. It's derived from the Latin word jocunditas, which means exuberant pleasure, which is kind of fun. Gigondas, the town or whatever, the area, was founded as a site for rest and relaxation for soldiers of the Roman Second Legion, who are credited with creating the first wine estates in the area. How about that?
Amazing.
For some proof points, in case you didn't believe me, Carmela.
I was questioning you, as always.
Archaeologists discovered a Bacchus head, that of course is the Roman god of wine in the region, which provides physical proof that viticulture was established during Roman times. And in the 1st century BCE, the Roman historian Pliny the Elder specifically called out wines made in the region. So you know it's true. Only facts. She was going to say something.
I figured I shouldn't go on any more tangents tonight.
No, we
I'm
like
reeling
them.
it in. I'm reeling it in.
We like it, Lewis and Gilbert. Okay,
my.
Following the Roman era, winemaking was maintained by Catholic religious orders.
Oh, my.
Notably the monastery of Notre Dame de Préyon.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all.
No, we always say this. If you're in Europe and you want to find the alcohol,
go to the churches.
And the monks.
And the monks.
Absolutely.
But yes, the monasteries, the churches, go to religion.
Yeah, that's where you'll find it. The Catholics, they like their wine. The first written evidence specifically mentioning a vineyard within Gigondas dates back to the 12th century. And in the 14th century, and we've talked about this before, we mentioned this earlier, the Pope and the Vatican moved to Avignon, which is close to Gigondas. And as you might suspect, this significantly boosted regional winemaking because, again, the Catholics, they like their wine.
They do.
You know, it's part of the mass, but they just like to drink it anyway.
They do. remember some of those Bible stories? Water into wine.
First miracle. Come on, let's go, people.
Woo!
Okay, moving forward a few hundred years, official records from 1591 confirm the existence of a burgeoning wine trade in Gigondas. And while the region is now almost exclusively red wine, documents from 1592 suggest that white wine was also commonly produced at that time. By the late 19th century, the quality of Gigondas wines began to earn national attention, and in 1894, wines from the region won a gold medal at the agricultural fair in Paris, in Paris. That's how the French say it, Paris.
Right.
Moving on to more recent times, for much of the 20th century, Gigondas kind of lacked its own distinct identity, and it was often not sold on its own. Instead, its red wines were often shipped to Burgundy to be used as what they call vin de médecin, to add strength and color to thinner wines in Burgundy. So that's kind of interesting. So it seems to me like Gigondas kind of went up and down in quality probably over the years. A pivotal turning point, Carmela, came in 1956 when a severe winter killed the region's olive trees.
Ooh.
They were all decimated. And so this led to a renaissance for wine production, and farmers replanted their olive groves with grapevines.
Oh.
And so moves to establish Gigondas as its own specific wine appellation began as early as 1924. It was officially included in the Côte du Rhône AOC in 1937 and was allowed to add the village name to the labels in 1951. In 1971, Gigondas became the first Côte du Rhône village's appellation to be elevated to its own cru status for red and rosé wines. And then in recent decades, investment and improved vineyard standards have led to really high quality, and many critics now sometimes rank Gigondas as a legitimate rival to Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Wow.
So sometimes, they're like, hey, man.
Fighting it out.
Yeah, play with us.
Wow.
As of September 2022, the appellation was officially extended to include white wines.
Nice.
Yeah, so pretty recent, though.
Yeah.
Only the last couple of years. Gigondas has really strict practices.
Okay.
The blend always has to have Grenache as the primary grape. It has to be at least 50% and up to 80%. And it's also mandatory that Syrah and Mourvèdre must together make up at least 15% of the blend.
All right.
A maximum of 10% is allowed for other authorized Rhône varieties, but Carignan is excluded from red Gigondas blends.
Ooh, so they will not allow it.
They don't allow it. And the reason for that...
We didn't like that.
We didn't
Anyway.
love it on its own. But there's a reason for that. It seems to be about differentiation so that Gigondas is unique among its neighbors that sometimes use Carignan.
Got it.
The other authorized red wines are allowed are Sancerre, Cunois, Muscadin, Picpoul Noir, Terret Noir, and Vaccarès. Now, in terms of winemaking, the focus is on balancing the high sugar levels of the grapes with freshness and structure. In Gigondas, hand harvesting is required. They have to harvest by hand, and careful sorting called triage, not a joke. Triage is also required, which means they have to select healthy, undamaged grapes. And for some information to put into your brain box, triage means sorting or selecting in French. And yes, this is the same meaning as what happens in an emergency room.
Right.
They
select the people who need the help the most.
That's right. So triage is something that they use for wine grapes and for people who are bleeding.
God. Oh my God.
It's not quite as serious about the grapes.
No.
Well, unless you're in Gigondas.
But when you
then
hear
it's a big deal.
triage, you begin to worry a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means about these grapes, but
Well,
I'm getting stressed out.
Don't stress out. It's okay. Okay, for fermentation, winemakers can use concrete or oak. It's common for fermentation to happen at higher temperatures with frequent pumping over or punching down. Yeah, baby. And whole stem fermentation is also often used. There is, interestingly enough, there's no official rule on aging, but the best estates will age for about 24 months in very large oak containers called foudre, rather than small barrels. And modern winemakers, so we'll like this, modern winemakers often avoid new oak because they feel like it can overpower the wine and mask subtleties, which I agree with.
Yeah.
I think too much oak. So maybe that's why I have actually tended to like Gigondas a little bit more than other of these big wines. This is a big wine. Like don't kid yourself.
Don't sleep on this wine,
That's
apparently.
right. Now, Gigondas is, as I said, is known as a big wine, and it's often described as powerful, rich, full-bodied, and densely structured. Sounds like someone you know, doesn't it? Yeah.
Now that's better.
Yeah.
You know?
That means, although it's punch you in the face wine.
Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see.
And on that note, we'll see, is that it's said to balance that bigness with some finesse and freshness.
Right.
And so it's often considered a slimmer cousin to Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Nice.
Yeah, and modern winemakers are trying to make more and more elegant and less aggressive styles. So we'll see if either of the ones that we try today kind of fit that bill. But Carmela, I think that's enough information. I think we should learn about the specific wines we're drinking today. What do you say?
Do it.
You know, because you got to do what your significant other or SO wants.
And
That's
I'm waiting.
important.
I'm waiting.
Okay. Usually, Carmela, the wines we choose for our episodes are under $25, but don't get mad at me because this time around they're closer to $30.
Whoa.
But that's just the reality of Gigondas. I mean,
Okay.
it's just what you're going to have to deal with. And so we're breaking the rules a bit, but we're not crushing the rules. It's not like it's $50. It's close. And every once in a while, I think it's good for us to share wines that would not normally make it onto the podcast because I think people are curious.
Sure.
So these wines that we are drinking today should be relatively easy to find because I bought them both at wine.com. And Gigondas is not really a hard wine to find, but you're going to have to look for a shop with a good wine selection. And it's helpful if they have good French wine selection. And of course, go to your local wine shop, talk to the proprietor there. They probably got Gigondas on the shelf, and if they don't, they'd be more than happy to find it for you. The first wine we're going to drink is the 2023 Notre Dame des Pallieres Gigondas Les Mourres. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's 80% Grenache, 10% each of Mourvèdre and Syrah, and this wine got a 94 rating from Jeb Dunnick. The tech sheet for this wine was a little rough in terms of translation, so I had to go to the interwebs to decode it. So first, it said that the old vines are manually harvested, and then 80% of the grapes are scraped. I was like, scraped?
Never heard that. Have you?
No, I didn't know what that meant. So the interweb said that it's a literal translation that means that the grapes were destemmed. And then 20% were kept whole cluster.
Okay,
That's
got
what
it.
it means. The wine is then fermented and macerated, which sounds dirty, but it's not, for 30 days in vats. If you macerate for 30 days, bad things happen. So they
In
leave...
vats, nonetheless.
They leave the wine on the skins for a long time, so it's going to extract a ton of flavor, a ton of tannins. They control the temperature during the period so the wine doesn't get kind of cooked in the fermentation process because fermentation creates heat. They do pump overs, and then after that, they separate the juice from the solids and they age in concrete vats. And concrete is interesting because, like a wooden barrel, concrete can let in some oxygen, but unlike oak, it doesn't impart any flavors. Now, another tech sheet or technical explanation said that 80% is in concrete and 20% is in the large wooden foudres. So we're just going to, I don't know which is which. It's fine.
Okay.
Most of it is in concrete. Most or all. A quick note on the winery. They say they're on a very old family estate and that there are so many generations of the family that have been making Gigondas that they don't even know how many generations there have been.
What?
That's how far back. And it says the domain dates back to the 900s, not 1900s.
Right.
900s.
Holy cow.
Yeah. The second wine we're going to
It's a
drink.
family business for sure.
It's in the family. Okay, the second wine we're going to drink is the 2023 Crous Saint-Martin Gigondas Les Espaliers. I'm not saying, I know I'm not saying these right, but I feel if I give enough accent,
Right, you're fooling everybody.
or
I
at
think
least
so.
myself.
Right.
Except for the people who are Francophiles, and then they're like, dude,
Oh, man.
you suck.
You just slaughtered that.
Exactly. I'll get something. Somebody will send something.
Which is
it's
fine.
Pronounced, and that's okay. We
Yeah.
like it. I like being
It's
corrected.
helpful.
It is.
No, you don't like being corrected.
No, I
you
don't,
You just
but-
totally lied. That's a lie.
Okay. There, I accepted that correction.
Yes.
Okay. Though this wine got a ton of really
I
good
mean, you don't mind when people that know what they're doing correct you, but
That's it.
typically you're the one who's right all the time.
No, you hit on a really important thing. If the person has more knowledge than me, I'm fine.
You're like, fine about
fine
it.
with
But no, typically you don't get corrected because you know,
I know everything.
well, at least pronunciation
Or I
and
think I
grammar.
know. Oh, yes.
And
I think I know.
life.
Yes, that's right. Okay, back to the wine. This wine got a ton of good reviews, including a 95 from Wine Enthusiast, 92 from Jeb Dunnick, a 91 from Vinius, and a 91 from Sucky James Suckling.
Whoa.
It's, again, a blend of 80% Grenache, 10% Syrah, 10% Mourvèdre. The tech sheet says the wine was hand-harvested, which it has to be. And then they had another 30-day vat vinification with some cap punching, a little pumping over, which is like kind of not just sexy, but a little bit scary, and mostly aged in stainless steel.
Oh, wow. We're going to like that, I think.
But, and then,
we're going to see.
And then a small portion, they don't say how much, in these large oak casks for 15 months. They also say the wine is unfined and unfiltered. So that's interesting. And another tech sheet I found said that the harvest starts with Syrah, followed by Grenache, and finishes with Mourvèdre, which needs more time to mature. So I thought that was interesting because they're kind of giving us a little clue about the different grapes and how they mature and how they crush them and then blend them together. This wine is a collaboration between Harry Boesmans, who is evidently well-known in Rhône, and Eric Bonnet of a winery called Domaine Bastide Saint-Dominique, which is actually in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, where his family has been growing grapes for 3 generations.
Okay.
So they know how many.
Right.
Yeah.
They've been tracking.
Yeah, they got it. Not so many that they can't keep track.
Right.
Okay, but I think that's enough information, Carmela. I think it's time to taste these wines. So, if you have a Gigondas or a Côte du Rhône or any French, whatever, just drink along with us and see if you agree with our tasting notes, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, we're back and we're ready to try our first wine. I'll say a couple of things really quick before we get into it. First is I did open these bottles before we started, which I think is a good thing because they need some air. So they've been airing out for about 25, 30 minutes. I also did the 20/20 rule. So I put them in the fridge for about 20 minutes before we started drinking them. So we'll see if that does anything, but that's a typical thing that we always say that you should do. The third thing is the bottles are really cool. So one of the things about Châteauneuf-du-Pape and Gigondas is that they have these like crests in the wine bottle themselves. So it's actually a really cool looking bottle.
Yeah. It looks fancy.
Yeah, like as a gift wine, this is a great wine. Or if you're trying to impress people at a dinner party.
It looks expensive.
It totally does. It's elegant. Okay, this first wine we're going to drink is the Notre Dame des Pallieres Gigondas Les Mourres. It's from Rhône, France. It's 2023 vintage, $28.97, Carmela. I'm sorry. At wine.com, 15% alcohol. That's the other thing about Gigondas is that it's going to be higher in alcohol, 80% Grenache, 10% each of Mourvèdre and Syrah. And again, Jeb Dunnock gave it a 94. So, Carmela, let's talk about the color.
Well, I wouldn't say, I mean, it's dark, but I wouldn't say it's like super inky, you know, not as dark as I was expecting for some reason.
It's almost translucent.
Yeah, it's kind of ruby.
Totally ruby.
It's pretty. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. It's a very pretty red. It's darker than a Burgundy, but it's not as dark as like a Cabernet. No. It's very pretty. Okay, well, let's smell it and see what we think.
Well, I'm getting some matchstick on it, but I'm also getting maybe some black licorice or anise, or fennel, something like that.
Definitely spicy, definitely smoky. I think like plum. It's kind of plum. It's a little grapey, I would say.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, it's spicy. Like the Syrah is probably giving it some spice.
Definitely.
I want to say like almost, I don't know how to say this. It's like a rose, but it's almost like like an older rose.
Like almost like dried rose, like almost like a potpourri with rose, red rose too, I feel like.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe just a skosh of like, there's some red fruit in there. I can't, it's almost like a jam, like a raspberry jam, but like with cinnamon and spice in it.
Today I made a berry compote, and it actually has some hints of that, I would say.
Okay, you know what it reminds me of a little bit? You know when you make the Linzer tort?
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of got that spicy raspberry?
Yeah, and it does also have some... it has almond in it, like in the crust sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't always make it with almond, but I wonder.
Do you think that adds to the it must add to the flavor.
It totally does, yeah.
Okay, well, let's taste it and see what we think. It's big, but it's not like overwhelming. It's flavorful.
It really is. And it is kind of big from start to finish. Like it almost opens up in your mouth.
Yes, I agree.
It's a little hot.
It's hot. It's like, talk about firm tannins. Yes. It's got really firm tannins. It's very plummy to me.
I would agree.
Almost pruny.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's funny. It almost is a little more to me like a red plum.
Oh, yeah. Not like the darker ones.
No.
Why do you think that?
I don't know, because there's something about the skin that I'm tasting in this wine, the skin of the plum.
Okay, I like it's. I mean, super tannic, so
Yeah.
that's where the skin's coming from. I'm getting a little figginess in it, maybe.
Okay, you're getting some more like a rich, like dry.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
So not like a fresh fig, more like fig jam or...
No, I could even say a fresh fig too.
Oh.
Like it's got that sweet, but like there's something about the body. You know, like a fig has like for a fruit, like a fig's got a lot going on from a body perspective.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of fleshy.
Yes,
like a-
fleshy.
A little bit of that.
That's
fleshy
a great
fig,
description. Yeah.
you know, and some, some they're different. There's so many different varieties of figs too, because
Like a black fig.
right, and some, like the red ones. I think this is more of a dark fig.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny. I mean, we'll rate it in a little bit, but it's a bigger wine than we would normally drink. But I'm really liking it. This is like on the verge of punch you in the face, but it does have some elegance, I feel, to it.
Because it doesn't have big oak on it.
No, you're
so
right.
I think that changes it. You can taste the fruit a lot more.
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Okay, what food would you have with this wine?
Well, I have to say, when I was thinking about this, you could have this. You could cocktail this
Totally.
for sure. Like you could just have this. Like I'm having a glass of wine at a wine bar, and this could be what you have. But I think it would go really well. I mean, I think it's a meat wine. I think
Steak frites.
Yep. I mean, I do like. I'm thinking of. The other night we went out and our son had ribs.
Oh, yeah.
Really good, both pork and beef ribs.
And I think it could be spicy or sweet. Like, I think you'd be fine. I think like a juicy cheeseburger or like a Big Mac.
Oh.
Something saucy.
Yeah. Oh, that would be good.
Like, I think this is a stew, but I also think this is kind of a saucy, like something with some sauce on it.
Yeah. Well,
some
even
fat.
like I'm saying, I mean, this is, you could even do like eggplant parmesan with
Totally.
this. That would be really good. And that's a meatless dish typically, or we make it that way.
Yeah. Stuffed flank, lasagna. Like, this is a hearty food wine.
Yeah. I like it.
I like it too. Well, let's rate it. As a reminder, on a rating scale, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't give half points. 7 and above means that we would buy it. 4 and below means we're going to pour it down the sink. 5 or 6 means we're going to drink it and we're going to finish it, but we're not going to buy it. So, Carmela, I know this isn't your type of wine, and I guess I shouldn't bias the jury, but what rating are you going to give this wine?
Well, I'm going to give it a 7 because
Okay.
I would buy it, and not even just for the bottle, even as a gift wine. It's a pretty bottle.
It's a great bottle. It's a very elegant, like people would be like, whoa, what
But
did
if
you
we
bring?
had certain people coming for dinner, I would happily buy this.
Yeah. So first of all, Carmela giving a bigger red wine a 7 is a huge rating for her because you just don't like big red wines.
No, but this is definitely has more qualities that I like that are in a wine that I wouldn't drink that would be in a similar category.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm liking it. What about you? What are you giving it?
I'm giving it an 8. I'm really tempted to give it a 9.
You like it.
It's a very good wine. Like, again, what's interesting to me is this isn't really our style, our jam. It's a little bit heavier than a wine that we would usually have, but it is a really nice wine. It's quite, like elegant. It's got a lot going on, but it doesn't feel like it's overdoing it. It feels, you know what? They talked about it. It feels balanced.
Yeah. It's approachable for somebody for like a variety of people too.
So I'm going to hold on an 8, but I'm as always, we reserve the right to change our ratings before the end of the podcast. Okay, we're going to take a break and try our second wine. Okay, we're back and we're ready to try our second wine. Again, same beautiful bottle, very elegant. It's got that crest etched into it that says Gigondas. I mean, again, great gift wine. Great, if you're going to somebody's house for dinner, like this would be a great wine to bring. This is the Crous, Crous, Saint-Martin, Gigondas Les Espaliers. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but trust me. It's from Rhône, France. It's also 2023 vintage. This one was $29.97.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Got it at wine.com. This one's a little less alcohol, 14.5%, but same blend, 80% Grenache, 10% Syrah, 10% Mourvèdre. And again, this is the one that has a 95 from Wine Enthusiast, 92 from Jeb Dunnick, a 91 from James Sucky Suckling, and a 91 from Vinius. But Carmela, let's talk about the color. Similar, but I wonder, and maybe it's because the lighting has changed a little bit. It seems maybe a touch darker.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's pretty. I'm still seeing those like red ruby highlights. It doesn't have. I mean, it looks like it's a touch darker.
It is, and it's not it's not nearly as I don't think it's translucent. Maybe it is a little bit. It's more on the verge of being purple, I think.
Yeah.
But with a ruby hue around the rim of it.
Yeah.
The edges.
Pretty.
Yeah, I mean, these wines are very pretty in the glass as well, I would also say. So these are great wines. Mm-hmm. Let's smell it.
What are you getting?
This one's a little more earthy, almost more herby on it.
Yeah, and I'm getting maybe a touch of meat.
Are you getting a little meatiness?
Just a little.
Mm-hmm. Fleshy. It smells like the flesh of a fruit. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain
again,
that.
It's kind of got that fig.
It kind of does.
Because the inside of a fig is a little like fleshy.
It's very fleshy.
Smelling even.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, there is. When you open it up, it crack open a fig. It does. There's something. It's just a different kind of experience. I'm getting like plum again and pruniness. Maybe black, like a deep cherry, but it's spicy again. Like there's definitely spiciness on it. It's not totally dissimilar from the first one, but it's a little, to me, maybe a little bit earthier, a little bit.
Yeah, I would think
herb.
so.
It's got some herb on it, like
rather
almost
than spice. I think there's herb. I'm not getting the same like cinnamony baking spices. I think we were getting a little bit more of that on the first one.
You know what? It's more like, Thanksgiving turkey herbs, like poultry
thyme,
herbs.
A little bit of thyme,
yeah,
maybe?
Poultry herbs. That's kind of what I'm getting.
Yeah.
I think the French sometimes call that grig, but it does almost have that, stuffing. Like stuffing has those herbs in it. It's kind of what it smells like to me.
When you take that, you bunch it up and tie a little knot in it and stick it in your dish.
Up the
cavity.
Oh,
the
God,
turkey
that's
cavity.
so gross. Okay, speaking of cavities, let's taste it. Okay. So I'm just going to say, I was expecting more punch you in the face from the flavor, but it's actually lighter than I expected.
I think so. And I actually think there are some similarities for sure, which makes sense. But it still has a little bit of that heat, and the taste is kind of big for a while, but not punch you in the face.
To me, it's a lighter, more elegant wine. The tannins are softer. So like the first one, the tannins were really grippy.
Mm-hmm. This is a little more round.
Totally more round.
Yeah.
It's not as drying. It's not as like on the tongue as the first one. It's got great tannins, but I would say these are more like silky or velvety tannins than they are really grippy tannins. But similar taste, like a fig Newton inside, it's got that spiciness with prune or fig or plum.
Or even like currant, a little bit of currant on it. Or raisin even.
Mm-hmm. You're right. There's actually a little bit of tartness on the very front of it as well. Even a red raspberry, like tartness, a little tartness on the front. Okay, what food would you pair with this Crous ce matin?
Well, it's funny. Now that you were talking about Thanksgiving, this would be, I think, great Thanksgiving wine.
I think so, too.
And it'd be so nice on the table.
Mm-hmm. It's lighter. It's a lighter wine than the first one, to me. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it doesn't have grip or depth. It's just not as, I don't think it's as bold.
No, which is why I think you could do like a turkey with gravy, like a Thanksgiving dinner with this. As an option.
For your birthday, Carmela's birthday was on Monday, the 13th, and we went to a place in Seattle called Musang. And musang is like, how would you describe it?
It's Filipino food.
It's Filipino, but it's like kind of like fancied up Filipino food.
Right.
Like,
and there's some comfort food kind of around it. But, some of it feels a little bit comfort food, but it's also, there are dishes. Actually, it was quite a variety.
Yeah. You had like fish. My main dish was like fried chicken in a gravy. That would go great with this wine.
It would go really nicely with this.
Yeah. So
the ribs would be good, and those were pork ribs, so I think they would be nice.
I think this one even more with spicy, but what's interesting about both these wines is they're making me think of creaminess, like creamy foods, like gravies and those kinds of things. They're really making me think of that.
Do you know what's so funny, too? This is so off, like, from what we normally talk about, but, like, this would actually be really good with, like, a Linzer tort.
Oh, you really a little dessert.
I think you could have a little dessert because that almond creaminess, that comes from that almond flavor in that bready. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I'm like, you could do certain desserts with this. Am I crazy?
No, I love it. I think it's great.
I don't know.
I love it. I'm having trouble with these wines. Let's rate these wines. I'm having trouble. Like, they're both really nice wines.
You know, I'm kind of just being very predictable tonight, but I'm going to give this one a 7 as well.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and give the first one a 9. I am going to go back. And this one I'm going to give an 8.
Okay.
I just think these are really nice wines. Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive than we usually would, spend on wines for the podcast, but not for what we would spend in our normal lives. These would be like
bargains.
Yeah. Like, these are really nice wines. And so I would encourage everybody try these wines.
Yeah,
they are worth
for
it.
sure.
They're worth it.
Sure.
Which of these are you finishing tonight, Carmela?
That is tough. That is a tough one for me. I don't know if I can make a decision right now.
They're both so good.
They're both really good. And so I'm going to, okay. I think I'll go with this first one.
Okay, we're both going to go for the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, they're fantastic wines.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't go wrong with either. Okay, let's talk about the taste profiles and see if we nailed them. Gigondas in general: ripe, red, and black fruits, strawberry, cherry, blackberry, blackcurrant, and blueberry. Sometimes often have a distinct meaty black licorice character.
Oh.
You got both of those. Garrigue.
Oh, wow.
Wild herbs of the region. Thyme, lavender, white pepper. I was definitely getting that kind. Don't you think?
Yeah,
that Thanksgiving?
Really interesting. Mm-hmm.
Typically with high alcohol, firm tannins, keen acidity. It does have acidity and saltiness, reminiscent of the sea.
I like that. Which maybe is why I'm thinking about a dessert with it.
Maybe
there's a little, because salt brings out the sweet, and it could actually work.
I think so too. The Notre Dame wine, the winery says, its nose exhales an aromatic bouquet and great complexity. Notes of very ripe fruits, blackberry and cherry. Palate is perfectly balanced. I do think it's balanced, both concentrated and delicate on jammy fruit and spices. The finish is long, extending on straight tannins. I like that description. They are straight tannins. Jeb Dunnick said both red and black fruits, peppery herbs, sappy flowers, and some gamey, truffly notes.
Truffle. That's interesting. I can get behind that.
Medium bodied, I agree. Pure, elegant mouthfeel, ripe, integrated tannins, great finish. So there you go.
Amazing.
The Crous Saint Martin, the winery says dark and deep ruby color. I agree, it is a darker one. Intense notes of jammed fruits, black olives.
Again, that saltiness.
Yeah, and dark spices, dark. Silky, elegant in the mouth. I agree. Remember we were saying it was like more silky kind of tannins. One enthusiast said aromas of fresh roses.
Wow. Fresh. They were saying fresh.
Yeah, we
were
said
thinking
dried.
more dried.
Carpentras strawberries, red licorice, flaky salt. Flaky salt is a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And crushed stone. The palette is liquid silk. Jeb Dunnick, ruby purple hued, offers a beautiful perfume of sweet framboise. That's strawberry.
Right.
Red plums, pepper, flowery garrigue-like.
Red plums.
Yeah, flowery garrigue-like notes. Medium-bodied, pure elegance. And Vinius said zesty blood orange. That's interesting. Ripe red fruits, pressed violets, dried herbs. We got the herbs for sure.
Yeah, we got a lot of it.
What's your verdict on Gigondas?
Oh, I'm down with this for sure.
Great gift wine.
Yeah.
Great fancy dinner wine.
Right. They would be awesome they would be beautiful on a table.
I mean, it's not so expensive that you couldn't hey, it's Tuesday night, let's have a nice wine.
Yeah, sure. But it's also a special occasion wine. If you don't want to splurge just, any day of the week, save this for a special dinner party.
I agree. It's a great wine. Now it's time to head over to our news desk so that we can cover our Wine in the News this week segment. Wine in the News this week. Our Wine in the News this week comes from Wine Searcher, written by Barnaby Eels. I like that name. Links are in the show notes as always, and his article is entitled French Wine's New North Star.
Oh.
So we're trying to stay on themes, French wines.
Love it.
And when we tell you where the North Star of French wine is now, you might be surprised.
Okay, give it to me.
It's Brittany.
What?
Exactly.
Wow.
Brittany, the rainy, windy, gray-skied western tip of France that most of us associated with seafood and cider and crepes and pretty much every French cliche.
You say crepes?
Yes.
Not crepes.
Crepes.
Okay.
I just thought I'd be cool and say crepes.
Wow, I've never heard you say crepes in my whole life. Not that I've heard you say crepes very often.
We don't have crepes a lot.
Amazing.
Or crepes. Anyway, It usually has nothing to do with wine. Brittany is usually not associated
crepes.
with wine. But yes, no, it is associated with crepes. But it's quietly turning into a real, actual, serious wine region, Carmela.
Nice.
Until about 10 years ago, it was literally illegal to grow wine commercially in Brittany. Illegal. They would arrest you.
Why?
I don't know why.
I'm puzzled.
French appellation law actually banned it.
What?
They banned it. And it was only in 2016, thanks to an EU directive, that France finally lifted its own prohibition. And in the decades since, about 50 new winemakers have set up shop, planted vines, and started making wine that people are actually paying money for.
Amazing.
The biggest of them is a guy named Laurent House, whose family used to make its living the traditional Breton way. His grandparents were cod fishermen, and he grew up in his family's creperie or creperie.
What do you say?
I don't know.
Creperie or creperie?
I don't know. But anyway, today he owns 15 hectares. It looks like hectares, but it's hectares of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. His estate is called Domaine des Terras Nuevas, which means the domain of the new lands. It's kind of cool. 3 former Champagne winemakers have quit Champagne and moved there. So what's going on, Carmela? What's going on?
It's a very good question, Joe.
Climate change. Climate change.
Wait, but is climate change real?
Oh, boy. Okay, Brittany has always been way too cold and too wet for grapes to ripen properly, but temperatures have been slowly climbing. The region now is a real shift between warm days and cool nights, and the maritime climate keeps the acidity intact, even when the sugars are getting higher. And this is what I'll say. In a few weeks, I don't know how long it's going to be, we're going to do some English bubbly.
Ooh.
Because
I'll make sure to be here.
Yeah, thank you. The same thing was said about England. You can't grow grapes in England, can't make wine. Well, guess what? It's happening. Okay, retail prices in Brittany run between 12 and 35 euros, so most are under 25 euros, so they're reasonably priced. They're being sold to locals and at the winery and through independent wine shops, so you're probably not going to get them in the U.S. for a while, but they are very much being built as anti-snob wine.
I love that.
I love it too. So, Carmela, here's a question. I don't know what the question is. What do you think about this whole climate change, Brittany wines, Breton? What do you think? Are you in or out? And do you call them crepes or crepes?
I'm a crepe girl. I call them crepes. And I don't really know what to make of it. What do you think?
I love it. I want to try it.
Crepes?
Yes. That's not a bunch of crepe. I want to try some crepes.
Okay. But you want to try it. You're down with this.
I'm totally down.
Okay,
we're going to move on to listener shout-outs. And I'll just say, here's the deal. We're doing this episode, we're recording this a little bit earlier in the week than we usually do. And so we don't have quite as many shout-outs as we normally would have. And I'm hoping I didn't miss anybody, but I just got one right now from Bradley. Bradley, he said he found our podcast and they've been going through the What the F episodes to learn more about varietals.
Nice.
So they're really loving them. And they are currently listening to Carmenere, and he and his wife, on their honeymoon, they went to the Casas del Bosque vineyard in Chile.
Cool.
So that's super cool. The other thing we'll just shout out is that Carmela and I went. There's a local comedian. We don't know him. Local comedian named Scott Lossy. If you ever follow him on Instagram, he's really funny.
We think we know him. We it's one of those what do you call those?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but explain what it is, because this totally makes sense.
Well, it's basically I don't know, somebody's going to know this right away, but you don't know them, but you feel like you know them because you spend time with them every day.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about
listening.
a couple of people.
Yeah.
And
including me.
This guy is one of those people who, when I see him, I just want to be like, hey, I know the guy, but he'd be like, who are you?
Well, this was the exciting part. So his name's Scott Lossy. We went to see a show. We took a picture. I put a picture up on our stories, and he sent us a note. He's like, thanks for coming out to the show.
So cool.
We were so excited. Carmela loves this guy.
I think he's funny.
Yeah,
I think he's really, really funny. He's a Pacific Northwest guy.
Yeah.
So
if you want to know about the Pacific Northwest and all the cliches, and it's all real and it's all
really
there.
Funny. Yeah.
Okay, here's some wines coming up in future episodes in case you want to drink along with us. We're going to do Vermentino. We're going to do Châteauneuf-du-Pape, including the 2024 Costco Kirkland version. By the way, you can go to our show notes if you want to find the exact wines and get links. We're going to do Gamay from Beaujolais. We've done Beaujolais before, but it's not for a while. And we're going to specifically focus on Beaujolais Morgon. We're going to do an episode on Decoy Decoy wines. We haven't done a grocery store wine in a while.
Cool.
And Decoy, we really like their sparkling, so we're going to see if we like their other wines. We're going to do an episode on Aglianico Rosé.
Ooh.
Sick.
Nice.
Schiava, which is a light red wine from Italy. Loire Cremant. We love Cremant, so we're going to do one specifically from Loire and British Bubbly.
Perf.
But with that, we're going to go. So thank you for listening to us and supporting our show. And remember, we buy all of our own wine, and we do all the writing and recording and editing to bring you a show every week because we love to do it. And our little small favor and ask for you is that you please follow or subscribe to our podcast and leave us a nice rating and review to help us grow listeners. And thank you so much to all of you who take the time to do that. You can follow us on Instagram at Blue Sky and TikTok at The Wine Pair Podcast. Contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. Sign up for our email newsletter there. Visit our shop wine section where you can find links to buy the wines that we rate as buys in each episode. And we want to make content that you care about and you like, so send us a note or DM us, give us some feedback, let us know if there's wines you want us to try or winemaking areas of the world that you're curious about. We'll take care of it. Reach out at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. But with that, we're going to sign off. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Au revoir.
Bye-bye.
Always think too much, always drink too much, always pray too much, always play too much. And when I'm with you too much, I fall in love too much. And when I'm away too much,